Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And of course, if you guys want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon link. The link is in the description below. And give me a $5 a month, $20 a month, $1 a month, whatever you guys prefer. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about how it takes us a little bit of time to understand this, but INFJs realize very early on that we are not our grades, we're not our salary, we're not the home that we own, we're not the stuff that we have, we're not those titles, compensations, degrees, all of those superficial things. We are not those things, right? And so we figure that out pretty quickly on or early on, but because we need to play the game of the world, we still keep on living in the real world and doing all those things that the world requires us to do, right? So I'll give you a quick example, obviously, just from my own life. I was very good at school, not to brag or anything, but I was just good at school because I was smart, and so it was very easy for me to study. I'd study a little bit and I'd get really good grades, reasonably good grade, enough grades that my parents were happy with it. And if I tried a little bit harder, I would get the A pluses that my parents wanted. So it was all right. I never really thought too much about it. It was just one of those things. I had to go to school. My parents wanted me to. I had to get the grades. That was fine. But it was never like, oh, great, I got really nice grades. Now I'm the perfect person. Now I am that person that I want to be. My grades never really defined me. And when I started getting poorer grades because I started not caring about it too much and caring about other things, my parents would get really angry with me. But I was just confused and mystified at why these grades matter so much. I'm still the same person. I'm still the intelligent person that I am on the inside. I still know a lot of things, but for some reason, if I cannot study this particular subject properly or go into the exam properly with it and just regurgitate all the information that I have inside of my head properly, then I am, construed or misconstrued as a person who's non-intelligent, dumb, stupid, etc. Right? And so it was really confusing to me. Yeah. Of course, because my parents were really strict with me and they wouldn't let me go out anywhere. They were very strict. They had like, you have to study all day long. They would wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, study before school, and then I'd have to go to tutoring after school, and I'd study till like 10, 11 p.m. at night. It was basically my life was studying, right? And so I realized if I did not play this game properly, because I was still under the power of my parents, I was still only in my teens. I think I was 14 or 13 or 14 at the time. And so I knew that I could not go off on my own, venture off on my own. I still had to be taken care of by my parents. So I had to follow their adages. I had to follow their learnings and their way of doing things, okay? So I did. I played the game. I studied really hard and I got the grades that they wanted and I got into a really great university, blah, blah, blah. So I played that game until and unless I was under their power, I had to. But then I got a part-time job as soon as I could. As soon as we moved to Toronto and as soon as I turned 17, I got a part-time job. Or I turned 16 or something. Anyway, so I got a part-time job and I had the power to compensate myself, to take care of myself, to support myself. I did not need to ask them for money anymore. They still took care of me. Obviously, I still live with them and they were really, I'm not saying anything bad about them. They're still good people. But they did not have the same power over me anymore, right? And so I had the idea or the inclination that I could do whatever I wanted to do, depending on what my heart desired, my soul desired, etc. Now, for a few years, I still followed the same path. I still studied and still got the grades and things like that because I did not know what I wanted to do with my life, right? And so if you don't know what you want to do with your life, then just follow what the hell everyone else is doing. It's fine, while you're figuring out what you need to do with your time here. So, I studied really hard, got the grades while I was still trying to figure out what do I want to really do with my life. And so I did a lot of coaching, a lot of reading and all that stuff. And eventually I figured out what I want to do. I started focusing on that. My parents were upset about it, but it was fine because they weren't taking care of me anymore. I was taking care of myself. And so it didn't matter anymore what they said because it's my life, right? That's what we're doing. But I just wanted to say, backtrack a little bit on how we are not our grades. And I get a lot of messages from younger INFJs or INFJs in their 20s who are exactly going through the same thing where they want to live a certain kind of life. They're interested in writing, or they're interested in music, or they're interested in something else. I don't know what they're interested in. But they're not interested in what their parents are interested for them. And mostly parents are only interested in one thing. They want you to get really good grades, get into a really good university, get a really good job after the university, and then follow or climb the corporate ladder until you're making really good money and they don't have to worry about you anymore, right? And so that's basically what most parents want. I mean, some parents are good and they're like, yeah, if you want to become an artist, do it. But most parents will be like, I want you to have stability and security and not have to worry about money. And I don't want to have to worry about you. So, basically that's all they want for you. But what our role and responsibility is as a child of this world, or as a human being in this world, is that, yes, follow the adages of your parents until you have to. And then if you can become independent. And then try to follow your own heart. Try to figure out what it is you want to do with your life, right? Figure out what the hell you're on this planet for. And still keep on following the adages of the world. If you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing with yourself, just keep on working at that job, keep on climbing the corporate ladder, keep on doing that thing. It's okay. It's not a bad thing to do that stuff. It's actually necessary sometimes because you need to live in the real world. We still need to make money. We still need to live here in this world. We need to get food, clothing, shelter, etc. We're living in this world. So we need to play along with the games that have been set up by society. Otherwise, we're going to be completely unable to live in this society. If we don't have money, how are we going to live in this world? If we don't have friends, how are we going to live in this world? I mean, it's possible for us to live without friends for a long time, but we are social creatures. So we have to kind of follow the rules that are set up in the society a lot of times. And that's okay. It's totally fine. It's fine as long as you are still trying to figure out what you're here to do, right? And so once I figured out what I wanted to do with my life, I little by little started moving away and pulling away from societal norms and started creating this life that I'm leading right now, right? And it's very far away from societal norms in general. Of course, I still rely on money. Absolutely. I still live in the real world. I still have an apartment, housing. I still eat real food, all that stuff, of course. But in a lot of ways, my life is not in the normal societal way. It's not like I'm living the true way that most people live. That's fine with me. That's what I want to do. And my parents have slowly learned that that's what I am going to do. And there's nothing they can actually say about it. Of course, I'm 36 now, right? It took me a while to get here, though. And so I really just want to talk to all those teenagers and 20-year-old INFJs out there who are asking this question. And they're confused or they hate themselves because they're unable to pull away from their parental norms. And that's all right. You're still a child and you're still, until you're an adult and you have your own job and you're independent, you still have to rely upon your parents. That means following the rules that they set up for you. And those rules are going to be very typical of societal rules. Get into a good university, study really hard, don't do this, don't do that. Mostly a lot of don'ts and a lot of do's, right? And so follow them. It's okay. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're a bad INFJ in any way, shape, or form, or a bad human, or you're not living your life the way you're supposed to. But do not forget that your primary mission in life is not to follow these societal norms or rules, but to figure out what you're supposed to be doing on this planet, right? And so spend at least half an hour a day, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes a day, whatever it might be, whatever you can have in your time, in your schedule. Spend that time trying to figure out what you're here to do, right? So do all the things that society expects you to do. Follow those rules, follow all that stuff that society's like, yeah, this is all you're supposed to be doing. Do that. And all of us do it. We have to do it in order to live in this world. But also remember that there's something something inside of you that the world requires, that you are here to give to the world. And only you can give that to the world. And so you need to do that. But the only way you can do that is if you pull yourself away from societal norms occasionally and to try to figure out what this is for you. And if you are thinking that and mostly INFJs will not think this, but if you are thinking that your job is your personality or your identity, or your grades are your identity, or the people that you surround yourself with are your identity, your friends, your coolness factor, all that, of course, that's not true, right? And I think if you're an INFJ, you already know this, but you don't need to believe society when it tells you that you're a bad person or you're a stupid person if your grades are not that great. Different people learn differently, and different people have different emotional intelligences. I will do a video on this, on different kinds of intelligences in the future, but I really want you guys to remember that all of these things that society tells you, most of it's false, most of it's wrong. You don't have to believe it, but you have to play along with the rules. You have to play along with it because that's the world that we're living in. Unless you can move to a cave somewhere, which you don't really want to do. It's nice to live in the real world. But unless you can do that, you have to live here and you have to follow their rules. Otherwise, you will be kicked out. And you don't want to live like that, right? Homeless on the streets. It's not the best way to do it. Also, you can't really focus on your ideals and your goals if you are homeless on the streets. If you're ostracized from society. The only way I can live the life that I want to lead is by being in the society, plugged in, but also plugged out, both at the same time, which is a perfect contradiction of being an INFJ. Okay? I hope this makes sense. I hope I was able to explain myself to you guys. Again, if you guys want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon link. The link is in the description below. And I shall see you guys in the next video, in the next one. Bye!